What's up, guys? EA, the hits just keep on coming. This company it seems determined to take the title of worst game developer. And there's a lot of developers who looks like they're fighting for that spot, but EA is like, nah, we're gonna be number one in that category of being the worst developer. Um, I put a link in the description to a video that's gonna pretty much shows you everything I've been talking about. And it's talking about one game in particular, but it pretty much describes everything I've been talking about, that I've been warning about. And the game is UFC 3, right? And I'm not going to get too far into it. It's just more microtransactions, more cut and paste garbage. Watch the video, and they do a much better job showing you what I've been talking about than I could. So that link is in the description. But I want to talk real quick about the sports titles, these yearly cut and paste sports titles. And I don't know if there's an unwritten rule that every year we have to get a sports game as far as, like, for example, like NBA 2K or MLB The Show or Madden. These sports games, they come out every year. But if you think about it, there's not really anything new. Because it's a sports game, how much can you really add to a sports game? Other than presentation of some kind, have some kind of background story to your character and development and stuff like that. But really, at its core, it's a sports game. And if you played one, you pretty much guaranteed that you're not going to have that much of a different experience from one year to the next. It's just mostly cut and paste rehashes and updating the rosters. And these are things that you can easily do with DLC. Now, yeah, I hate DLC, but in the sense of a game like a sports title, if you release, I'm just to make it clear. Let's just say, for instance, I think I could describe it better this way. If I was developing a NASCAR game, right? As the developer, if I had the money to do it, and this is exactly how I would do it. I would not follow the yearly title business model. I would say, let's develop this game. I put all my ideas into it, everything, but you're going to get a fully fleshed out NASCAR title. Okay? With all 3 series. It's going to be packed with everything. That game will be released. It won't have a year on it. It'll just say NASCAR or whatever. But I won't release a game every year. The game that I develop will be to be released, and that would be your game for at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. And until I can overhaul the entire game and give you a completely better experience in terms of graphics, physics, and stuff like that, there's no point in putting it out yearly, right? You're still going to have the same tracks. You're still going to have the same experience. Same thing with basketball. You got the same NBA teams, same arenas, right? So other than updating the rosters, really, why is there a need to release a yearly sports game? There really isn't. So I don't know at what point developers decided we have to do this every year. other than money. Of course, that's always the only motive is profits, but there's really no need for it. I can go back and play NBA 2K12 or 11, right? Which were really good. And other than looking at it and seeing players that may not even be in the league anymore or that play on completely different teams and stuff like that, I mean, if you could live with that, it's still basketball. You're still running up and down the court. You're still making moves, taking shots, right? So the experience, yeah, you should want updated rosters and all that, but this is my point. You don't need to develop an entirely new game. In fact, once you create, speaking of NASCAR, you made all the tracks, you put all 3 series, the core blueprint of the game has been built. Why do you need an entirely new title every year? I don't think you do. I think that you personally, I would focus on releasing my game, my NASCAR game, right? Disco Inferno NASCAR experience. Boom. And then every year I would release DLC, $10, $15 tops. Updates your rosters, updates all your paint schemes, updates, improvements, to the physics, the handling, adding certain things that improve the experience of the original game, right? So you could do this every year you release. That's the one time I'm okay with DLC if you did something like that. So if you released a game that's not released every year, and this is going to be your core game for maybe 3, 4, even 5 years. I know 5 seems like a long time, but let's say 3 or 4 years. So you paid, you bought the game, and now every year you buy $15 DLC pack, which covers updated rosters, drivers, paint schemes, changes to the physics, the handling, and improvements in whatever aspects of the game that you can actually improve through DLC. You do that, okay? And you continue to refine the game and work on the problems and the issues and the bugs and the glitches with the game. And when you buy that yearly DLC pack, it improves the original game. It makes it better, and it resets. It keeps everything updated and fresh. But at the end of the day, it's still NASCAR. You're still racing these cars, and you're still pretty much at the same tracks. And if there's changes to the rules packages or the playoff system or the point system, you can handle all this through DLC. But that's how I would develop a NASCAR game or a game period. I wouldn't attack it from the business model of we're going to make the same game every year and sell it. Really what you are buying is a DLC. If you think about it, but at the price of a full game, because really it's not that big of a difference from year to year in a sports game. So this idea of releasing yearly sports games, it only waters down the product because there's only so much you can do to improve a sports game. What can you possibly do to NBA 2K or to Madden football? It's fucking football. It's the same teams. How much can you actually do? So that's why those games are the biggest offenders when it comes to cut and paste, right? And there's nothing worse than buying a game and it's exactly like last year's game with these minor changes, and they sell it to you as a new game, but it's really a glorified DLC. So that's my point, and that's how I would do it. I would develop a NASCAR game, really focus hard on releasing a product that is fully fleshed out, isn't missing anything, right? So nobody gets ripped off. Then whatever issues are there and updating the rosters and paint schemes and stuff like that, that can be handled through DLC. And if you did that, people would be more than happy to buy the DLC because it's keeping your game fresh and updated and improving it in all aspects. That's how you should do it. But these companies, obviously, they probably look at it and say, we can't make money like that. That's a poor business model. That's probably something that a very small developer could do, but someone like EA or one of these other developers, they don't want to hear that. But like I said, when you think about it, that's where I'm. In all honesty, that's where I am with when it comes to games like NBA 2K. This year's game really is what was the final straw. With all the bullshit and the microtransactions and everything that happened with this game that I talked about, it was so offensive to me and so egregious that I refused to buy it. And I don't know if I'll buy another NBA 2K game. Certainly not with this generation of console. When there's another generation of console, maybe the PS5 comes out, whenever it does, yeah, I'll probably want the next NBA 2K because I'm expecting a big upgrade in terms of visuals and everything. So that would incentivize me to buy it. But I'm not buying another NBA 2K game because if I just want to play basketball, I'll play an old game. I still have the previous year's game. So it's not a big difference from year to year. I'll just keep playing that. That's the way I'm handling it. I'm not giving 2K my money because of the garbage they're doing. And like I said, it's cut and paste, most of it. There's not really anything new. And whatever is new, it's microtransactions. So that's how I would do it as a developer. And people would feel like whatever they are buying is fair. But unfortunately, the horse is out the barn. These guys got a taste of the money. And I don't know if there's any going back. But you could damn sure do something about it, which is don't fucking buy this garbage. So I just wanted to update you guys on the shit EA's doing. And their stock prices have plummeted. So that might be temporary. Who knows? But you can bet they are scrambling because I don't think they meant to release it right now that way, this footage, but it's too late. They already invested so much into that business model. There's no way to get it out of the game. So they're like, we made our bed, we have to lie in it. We invested all this money into developing these games. What are we going to do? We're not just going to scrap the game. Might as well just put it out there and get what we can. I think that's the mess that they're in. And I'm hoping other developers pay attention to what's going on with EA and maybe take a step back and say, whatever we've done up to this point, we're kind of stuck, but we need to start pulling back with all this microtransaction shit because people are getting fed up and we don't want to paint ourselves into a corner like EA has done. And I'm hoping that's what's happening with other developers. I mean, hope is one thing, reality is another thing. I just think that profit, it just takes precedence over everything. And the only people that are going to have our backs is us. So, please check that video out because it says everything I've been talking about, and it does it even much better. So, until next time, I look forward to your comments, and I'll see you guys around.